Steve Alcorn's a fine investigator. What he's doing with this Chris dude, I have no idea.
I gave her cigarettes for our anniversary 1 year.
There you go. That's fucking romantic.
She didn't like gifts. I said, well, I want to get you something. What do you want? Just give me a couple packs of cigarettes. So I wrapped them up and gave them to her.
Yeah, have some lung cancer.
You got a dead Bigfoot that's just been shot, hanging upside down in a tree. Though Meldrum was also careful to note, it's not a course about Bigfoot.
It's a course about Fozzie Bear. Who's Fozzie Bear? Some say his father was half grizzly. Nobody believed he was real. As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a Muppet. To me, that was better than being president of the United States.
They upped my meds last night, so anything's possible. We're laughing at a story about dead people. I can't explain it, but it sure makes me feel like the spirits are happy.
I mean, I guess you could say it might have been somebody's hand moving real quick, but it's not a fucking ghost.
The jury's still out on that.
See, your hoaxes come at you with smiles. They come as your friends.
Pope Francis says doggy heaven is real, so your dog has a soul.
Ah, so now the dogs can hang out with the pedophiles.
Not Benedict, Francis, Pope Francis.
No, I'm just guilt by association, Steve.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's what they say when they talk about me and you.
Yeah, there you go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Fortean Slip. This is episode 82. What are we calling this thing, Steve?
The Chris is a Jackass episode?
The Chris is a Jackass episode.
I don't know. Something somebody told me this week, that's all I know.
Yeah, there was a lot of that this week.
Well, you know, I got calls. Well, I don't know what the guy told me, but he called me a lot of things, so it was fun.
Well, you're an awful human being, Steve. You're a weasel.
I have no friends.
Just a fucking
None.
weasel. If I had a picture of a weasel that I could stick up and point to, but we don't do video of ourselves, maybe I'll just put up a picture of a weasel.
You take a picture of yourself, take a picture of a weasel, and then be pointing at it.
And point it.
You know, Photoshop it or something.
And point. There's
I am a weasel.
But yeah, we have no fucking show topic tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It's a free form. We came off of I don't know how many fucking Bigfoot shows I did, where I talked ad nauseum about bullshit, and we're going into our third year of doing this bullshit.
Holy fuck!
In 1 month. In 1 month's time, exactly 4 more episodes, we will be in the third year of the Fortean Slip podcast. We started August 18th, 2013.
Wow.
Yeah.
We rock.
Well, I don't know that we rock, but we've been doing it for a couple of years.
and we still waste away in obscurity.
Yeah, we're just fucking. We only have like 300 listeners, or so I've been told.
That's it. Only 300.
Just 300. That's it.
On a fluke, once in a while, we get 301 or 2, but that's about it.
Yeah. So we're going into the new. Do we want to call it season? I don't want to call these seasons. This isn't season 3.
Season 1, episode 3. Yeah, whatever.
This isn't. This is just episode whatever. All the time. We don't label them.
We haven't taken a break.
We don't label them season 1, season 2, season. It won't be labeled season 3, but it is the third year. We do have some things on the docket. Some things coming up. We really don't want to talk about any of it, though, unfortunately, because we're afraid that we'll jinx it if we do. Because our luck is just fucking horrid.
It sucks.
Yeah. You know, Steve's painting furniture.
I love painting furniture. It's a fun time.
I gotta say, I hate that green, by the way.
I don't care if you hate it. I like it.
And that's fine that you like it. I think it's fucking horrid. But you know, the work that you did came out all right.
Yeah, I mean, I took a 30 TV cabinet and made it something probably worth $200 or $300, but it's not for sale. It's mine.
Yeah, you're just gonna sit there and look at it and be in awe.
It is
Of
beautiful.
your craftsmanship.
Well, it was mine and Marcia's craftsmanship. She did a lot of the
You're a
painting,
distinguished craftsman now.
I believe that is true.
You're an artisan.
Actually, my plan for the future, Chris, is to do that. Maybe not for a living, but to make some side money. That big upcycle thing that's going around. People are really into that shit right now, and you can repurpose furniture and different items, and it's actually kind of exciting to do. Make something that wasn't something, into something, and that's what we're going to start doing. So the first piece that we did, the TV
I know
stand
all
in there,
about
that was-
repurposing, Steve. I repurpose audio all the time. And
Yes, you do.
make it into something new.
I'm talking about saleable items.
Hey, it goes on YouTube. There are ads.
It's saleable, I guess. Well, there comes a point in your life where you don't want to sit there and work in a shop for the rest of your life, so you have to decide where you're going to go from here. And so this is one thing that I've always wanted to try, and so we're going to give it a good shot and see how it goes. And
No,
yeah,
I saw the pictures that you posted. Obviously, you and I don't live close by, because if we did, we'd probably be talking in the same fucking room.
we'd have probably fucking killed each other by now, but
That too. But I saw the pictures that you posted of the outdoor swing that you did, and the
yeah.
and the TV cabinet there. And like I said, I'm not a fan of the color itself, but the way that they look now in comparison to the pictures that you had posted before, they look great. Phenomenal shit.
Just say it like it is, Chris. Credit where credit is due. You're phenomenal.
You're an artisan. You're like who's a famous fucking furniture maker? See?
Bob Vila? No, wait, no.
No. You're like
Norm Abrams.
You're like
from
Steve
your
the
neck of
Tool
woods.
Man Alcorn.
Norm Abrams, man, from your neck of the woods. He wasn't into the upcycling, but that's who I compare myself to. In fact, I learned a lot from Norm Abrams, and now the student has become the teacher. So that's how I look at it.
That's pretty cool.
You ever watch Norm? I love that fucking guy.
No.
He was a hoot.
No.
You never seen Norm Abrams? Come on.
No. No, and I've never watched like Antique Roadshow.
What?
No, wait a minute. I take that back. That's the one where they go around and like they appraise shit, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I take that back. I have actually seen it. When I was living with my ex in California, I actually saw Antique Roadshow.
It's a good show.
I won't say that I enjoyed it, Steve. I'll just say that I watched it.
Okay, whatever, man. If you don't like it, you don't have to like it. I mean,
I'm
into that shit.
I know you are. You fucking
Bigfoot,
weird
bugs,
like that.
spam, miracle weapon, antiques. That's what I'm into.
Fucking love that shit. You watch that? Do you watch that? What's that? Those two guys that go around and fucking buy.
You mean the show that they stole from me? American Pickers? Yeah, I watch
American
that all the
Pickers.
time.
Do you watch that shit?
Of course I do.
Do you think
They
those
stole that
guys?
show from me. You know that.
Do you think those guys have a relationship?
Sometimes I wonder. I think they both have significant others.
That's
But
fine.
sometimes I wonder-
Listen, hey, I know many a person who has a significant other,
Oh, yeah.
and they still don't mind having.
They spend a lot of hours on the
road.
road together. Something might, they might get lonely sometimes.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I've seen this show. I couldn't remember the fucking name of it, but I've seen it a few times. I have friends that sit around and watch it.
It's an awesome show. I like it, but they stole it from me, and I can prove that.
They stole American Pickers from you.
They stole the idea for the show from me. Back in like 1995 or 6, when I was first getting on the internet, there was a contest, and you could make up a reality show, and that was mine. Basically, it was the same concept. Well, it didn't win the contest, but it came close. It was like a runner-up or something. And then a few years later, here comes fucking American Pickers on TV.
And then here comes fucking Steve Alcorn's ripped-off idea.
Mine was called Another Man's Trash, but it's the same, because you go out and find old stuff and then you resell it. That was the idea for the show.
Listen, I grew up with my father. We would drive down the road, and if my dad saw garbage on the side of the road, he would stop and pick through it.
That's what the show was supposed to be about.
Not like call up the person and say like, "Hey, can I stop by and look through your junk?" No, if it was on the side of the road, Dad just pulled up and just started going through it. Like, I was horrified as a child.
Horrified, man. I loved that shit.
I was fucking horrified as a child. I was like, what is my father doing going through other people's garbage?
Do you know how much money I've made in the past?
No, do you know how much money my father never made on any of that shit?
Because your father wasn't selling it.
Yeah, exactly. He just got a house full of junk.
But the television show idea was me and another guy going out and picking up people's trash, basic stuff. It wasn't exactly American Pickers. They didn't really steal it from me, I'll have to admit. But it was a very similar concept. But it was basically you go out on garbage night and see what you can find to resell.
Because you didn't say you wanted to drive around in a van with another guy and have a relationship with him?
No, I didn't say that in the concept. In fact, it was more like a game show type concept, where you get two teams of people going out and doing it. But whatever, it was the same concept. It was exactly the same as American Pickers, but different. A lot different.
And you didn't work like cryptids or cryptozoology in there anywhere?
Back then,
Ghosts.
I was into it, but I wasn't into it.
UFOs.
Not like we are now, but...
Another person's UFO sighting. That's kind of what you do on YouTube.
Steal people. I've been accused many times of stealing people's
you
shit.
said it, not me, motherfucker.
I'm not stealing anything. I'm making commentary on people put out evidence. You should be allowed to make commentary on it. Correct? I mean, fair use, right?
Listen, Brian Williams. You go right ahead. You comment on them UFO videos, Brian Williams.
But here's what I want to say to any Hollywood producers, reality show producers. If you want a new American Picker style television show, just contact us through the Fortean Slip. What is our? Do we even have an email address?
I'm not getting in a van with you and going and looking for shit.
I didn't ask for you.
Actually, you know what? Actually, I would. That is the only TV show that I would do. Is if I could be in a van with you and be horrified at the shit you're picking through. Like, if I can just be totally disgusted with you the entire fucking time.
It wouldn't have to be anything that I'm actually picking through. You're just going to be horrified with me.
Yeah, I got you. We could just drive around and I'd just be fucking disgusted and horrified with you.
But seriously, email me at slicktoys, that's SLIKTOYS, at yahoo.com.
And he'll try to work Bigfoot, UFOs, the Loch Ness Monster, and everything else.
I don't have a desire to do a show with any paranormal related shit anymore. I mean, I did in the past, but fuck that shit. Because it's all fucking made up.
Yeah, I just like my Ancient Aliens, Steve. That's all I like. I like my Ancient Aliens at night, which I need to get season 3 so I can continue on. I think I've watched season 2 like at least 3 times each now at this point. So I like
to watch the shows. I just don't want to be a part of it. I mean, that like we've had shows on being part of the problem. I don't want to be part of the problem. I don't want to be on a show where
You are on a show that's part of the problem, Steve.
we are the problem. According to many, we are the problem.
We are the problem. We are
the 300. Less than 300 people think we're the problem, though.
Yeah.
Because only 300 listen.
That's it. That's all we get. We get 300. It's just a sad state of affairs. I don't know why we. I don't know why we continue to do it, Steve.
I don't either.
For the love of the unknown.
Well, we've done this two full years now.
2 full years. The X-Files is coming back on in January. I'm stoked.
Oh, there goes. We're going to be back down to 200 listeners then. Does it come on at the same time?
I don't know. I don't know what fucking day it comes on. I don't give a shit. I'll be totally ecstatic. I can tell you that. Mulder and Scully.
Is it just a limited run?
Yeah,
from what
it's
I
like
understand?
6 episodes, I think.
That kind of sucks, man. I'd like to see the series itself come back.
I don't know. I don't know that I'd like to see the series itself come back. I like a lot of these limited run things that they're doing now. Like, I've been watching Wayward Pines, which is wrapping up. Like, I think the final episode is this week. And, you know, I don't mind it. It's, you know, I don't need a show that lasts fucking 5-6 seasons anymore. Just give me a fucking show. You know, make it like one big movie. That's cool. Well, I like that idea.
That's okay too. Maybe the X-Files has been over too. You know, I don't know.
Well,
and maybe only six episodes is about all you can handle anymore.
Well, 6 episodes would be good, I think, if they do it as one, you know, story arc, but with little story arcs in between, you know, along the way. I think it'll work really well. But you know, that's. I just don't think we need a whole new fucking X-Files season after season. Fuck that. Just give me the big hoo-wah, you know. It's like the the final tour, the Ozzy Osbourne final tour. Like, he does it like 20 times. They can do this 6-episode run and call it the last final 6 episodes of the X-Files like 20 times. You know, stretch it out.
Coming from my perspective, I didn't watch the original X-Files very much. I mean, I've seen an episode here and there. So for me, it would be kind of neat to actually see an actual series, but because I missed the original. But I wonder if you have to have seen the original to understand what's going on in this one. I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I think they'll probably make it enough of a standalone so that if you've never even watched it, you can walk right in, and they're really good at doing those types of things with shows and movies. That
everybody knows the basics behind the X-Files. I mean, so it's not like you don't know the backstory, you know.
Well, it was pretty fucking ingrained in pop culture.
Right. So even if you never watched it, you kind of know what happened on the show and what it was about. So I suppose you'd be able to walk in on just this little mini series type deal. All right.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine, and I'm gonna enjoy it. Like I said, I've been enjoying a lot of these, you know, one-offs series that go on, and it's been a pretty exciting era for television, I think, for me personally. You know, there's been a lot of stuff I've enjoyed watching on TV, and even just entertainment in general, and movies. You know, a lot of the stuff that just came out of Comic-Con had me fucking like running around with a fucking erection, just stroking my fucking bag.
You and I have such different tastes in television shows, man. Here, you're talking about all this kind of shit, and I'm thinking about Derek on fucking Netflix.
You stroke your bag to Derek?
No.
No. Oh, okay. I was just checking. I'm making sure. No, I just
Antiques Roadshow.
A lot of this stuff that, you know, just came out of Comic-Con, like the Dawn of Justice trailer and the Suicide Squad trailer and the leaked fucking X-Men Apocalypse footage. Like that's all stuff from my youth. Like I was way into comic books when I was a kid. I still am. You know, and I love all that shit. And you know that all that stuff has an air of the supernatural in it. You know, people with super abilities. You know, so it fits right in, and with a lot of the other stuff that I've always been into. You know.
Well, growing up, my uncle had a huge comic book collection, and I've talked to you about it before. So it was basically Silver Age comics, 60s, 70s Silver Age.
I think so. I can't remember.
Anyway, so I've read all that shit, man. I just kind of got bored with it after a while because I've seen it, you know.
Yeah,
I seen so much when I was a kid. It just doesn't thrill me anymore, I guess.
I don't know. I went through the different eras. I grew up with the 80s comics and then went into the 90s when they changed how comics were made, really, in the 90s. And, you know, and then you come to now where, like, comic book entertainment is huge and Comic-Cons are fucking massive.
Oh, yeah.
You know, this stuff is... It's not just a fringe thing anymore like it used to be. Like, I can remember getting comics when I was a kid and not being really embarrassed about it, but it was like something like, you know, you didn't, you know, broadcast that you read comic books.
Really?
Yeah, like I can remember it was like one of those things, like, you know, it was, you know, you were a geek, you were a fucking nerd. That stuff wasn't fucking quote unquote cool, and now it's like one of the coolest fucking things in the world.
Yeah, I mean, things go in cycles like that. I mean, but where I came from, it wasn't. I don't remember anybody saying, "Hey, you read comic book." I mean, I'd stand in the fucking convenience store while my grandparents were shopping and read a comic book that's sitting on the shelf there, you know, back in the 80s, 70s, or late 70s, early 80s, whatever, mid 80s, and never had any issues doing that. So I don't know.
Yeah, my parents too, like, they were really fucking cheap, so I wasn't allowed to fucking get comics, you know, but my buddy had a shit ton of them, so I'd go over to his house and read all of his comics.
Well, back in the day, man, every fucking store had comic books. I mean, Kmart had comic books. You could just stand there and read while your mom and dad were shopping or whatever.
Yeah, but I never did that type of shit. My parents thought that type of shit was rude, so I wasn't ever allowed to, like, pick stuff up and do stuff like that when I was a kid.
I read comics, and my grandparents didn't have a problem with it. They kept me out of their hair, and my parents didn't have a problem with it either. You know, they were shopping. Go ahead, read, do whatever you want. And so I read comic books all the way up until, you know, I was in high school, I think. And then I found Hot VW's magazine, and that was that. And then I started reading about Volkswagen, man.
Oh, God. I found Hustler, Steve. I didn't find a fucking VW magazine. I found Hustler.
Oh, yeah. There's a funny story about Hustlers, though.
Can you hear the thunder in the background, Steve? This is like ambient.
No, I cannot.
I think if this picks up, it'll be like fucking ambient music, not music, ambient talk for people to listen to. You can have the, like, gentle sounds.
My first experience with a Playboy and a Hustler and all those was there's a apartment building next to the house.
A fucking spread of Gingerland. Oh, thank God for that. Her fucking vag just fucking completely spread wide open. I spewed more jism to that fucking photo. Oh.
I'm not speak of how much jism I may or may not.
I can't imagine how much cocaine she'd blown up her fucking nose while doing that shoot, but I don't care.
But anyway, there was an apartment building next door to our house, and one day there's an old paper bag laying outside the guy's window, probably a kid's window. I don't remember who lived there at the time, but so I went over there, you know, being the junk collector that I've always been, and I looked and see what was in the bag. That was my very first experience with Hustler, man. And then we used to burn wood in our house, right? So we had to stop doing that because it just got to be a lot of work going on cutting wood and shit like that. So I fucking hit him in the wood stove that was in the basement. What are you gonna do, man?
I can remember one
That was my
time. I can
first
remember one
experience.
time I used to hide it under my bed, and I can't remember what happened, but my parents like all of a sudden wanted to go in my room and move my bed or check something on my bed, and I fucking booked ass into the fucking house to fucking get in there before them and move that fucking thing.
Well, see, your first mistake was hiding it in the same place that everybody hides it. See?
Dude, I fucking didn't
That's why
know. I was dumb as shit
Oh,
back
yeah.
then.
So that's why you hide it in the fucking wood stove. But, you know, you just got to make sure nobody wants to start a fire.
Yeah, that's the end of your fucking fun time happy hour. Or,
Oh, see, the
or
image is
5
still in my
minutes,
head.
you know, however long it takes.
It's, you know, you get commercials for Viagra, and they say if you have a 4-hour erection, well, you know, they got nothing on me, man.
Oh, really, Superman? Fucking no, please tell me more about your fucking amazing erection.
I can't speak of erections on this show. It's a family show, Chris.
Yeah,
For some very deranged families, but
yeah. Speaking of which, so yeah, I mean, yeah, this like I said earlier in the show, this fucking show's a fucking goddamn clusterfuck. But we're going into the 3rd year. I hate to cut you off, Steve, but I said I wanted to go short tonight. And I've got, you know, the fucking tornado warning out here about to start. For fuck's sake.
come on, be a man.
It's fuck.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, what'd I tell you? So, you know, we've got some things that are coming up, and this was more of just a fuck off show than anything else. For us to kind of, I don't know, brainstorm some shit. Steve and I had gotten together, talked before the show, try to figure out some stuff we want to do for the new year. And like I said, we do have some stuff that's
We went off on a tangent.
that
but,
might.
yeah.
We have some stuff that might be fucking coming. We don't know that we want to fucking bring it up yet, because I don't want to say, yeah, we're gonna do this, and then have things fall through and then it not fucking happen. So
Yeah,
at
we don't
this-
want to be like those other fucking shows.
yeah,
that
I'm not gonna
the hell out
promote.
of
Yeah, I'm
something.
not gonna promote the shit out of something, have everybody expecting something, and then have it fucking fall through and not happen. And no, I'm not going on any expeditions. That shit's not going down ever. I can assure you.
You and I should go on an expedition.
No,
Now, see,
no,
if
we
we
should
ever
not.
have that TV show, Chris, we
No.
can call it an expedition.
No, we're not going on a fucking
We could be just
expedition.
driving in a van and
Ever. Ever.
shit. You name, except for maybe a very few Bigfoot researchers or even any type of paranormal type researcher who's actually been on an expedition. Jeez almighty.
What?
I can hear that thunder like crazy, man.
It's the end of the world over here, I'm telling you.
A real expedition. They don't exist. People go out on the weekends. That's not an expedition. I mean, it's just not the way it is. I don't go out on an expedition. You don't. Even if we went a week, I don't even consider that a fucking expedition. And we're not going to, like, Africa or anything and hunting for saber-toothed tigers.
Well, I would never say I'm going on an expedition, because I'm not going out and collecting data, and I'm not going to be part of that. That's not me. You know, I'm
Call it a vigil.
I'm, hey, I might go camping. I like camping.
That's right.
Camping's fun.
Yeah,
But,
I don't like it, but whatever.
Well, that's because you suck, Mr. Fucking... You
I
like
do.
antiques, but you don't like camping.
When I was a kid, man, I camped so much that I got fucking tired of that shit, too.
See?
I want to sleep in a fucking
The
tent
good
on
Lord
ground.
doesn't like that you don't like camping, Steve. You hear that, Thunder?
Yeah, he's... Well, see, I look at it different. That thunder's on your side.
That's true.
Something you're doing wrong, not me.
Could be. Could be. I've been known to, do a few things that
Get the higher powers all angry with you right there.
possible.
Powers that may or may not be.
You got any news?
Oh yeah.
Glad you got some fucking news tonight.
I'm glad you sent it to me just before the show.
That's what I'm here for,
From
Steve.
Benzinga.
Without
Benzinga.
me, this show doesn't go down.
No, because I wouldn't do it. Because I'm too fucking lazy. Benzinga. I like that name. 5-year battle to get Bigfoot movie release has a big payoff.
Does it?
Medford, Oregon. It says so. Tom Monson. This is a press release, by the way, because it's from PR.com originally. Tom Monson, writer and producer of Bigfoot Chronicles, announced today that the film released
Not to be
July
confused
7th.
with the podcast.
Sasquatch Chronicles.
Oh, that's Sasquatch Chronicles. This is Bigfoot Chronicles?
Yes, this is a whole different thing.
I got
Please
confused,
do not
Steve.
confuse this with
Steve,
that.
I got confused. I'm sorry. Let me go back to smoking my bong.
Okay. Oh, I'm supposed to continue reading.
Yes.
Bigfoot Chronicles announced today that the film released July 7th is exploding in popularity. According to the film's distributor, Dan Garcia, thousands of copies have been sold at Walmart and Amazon. According to Amazon's website, supplies almost gone, and prices listed on eBay are higher than retail.
That's awesome, Steve.
Yeah, for a Bigfoot movie, sure it is. Bigfoot Chronicles is a story of filmmaker Rock Thompson, who has been hired by the coalition of North American Indian tribes to write and direct a documentary.
I am Rock Quarry.
Is that from the Flintstones or something?
Yes.
Okay, see, I got it. Let's see. To write and direct a documentary film about Bigfoot.
Dum,
They
dum.
believe a film about Bigfoot living in their forest could stop the planned clear-cutting of their sacred lands.
Hey, Bonnie.
Yeah, because while there, Thompson interviews several interesting characters who tell strange tales about the furry monster. One of them tells about his own Bigfoot encounter and adds how and where to find Bigfoot because, you know, he knows. The movie is packed with...
No, Steve, listen. We've been over this. A very, very important man has given us all the tools that we need to find Bigfoot. You just need trees, water, and mushrooms.
Mushrooms. I think mushrooms are probably the most important part of that scenario.
Mushrooms, Steve. It's all you need.
Trees, water, and mushrooms. Got it. That guy is so smart. The movie is packed with lore and actual accounts of Bigfoot sightings. I didn't want to make some cheesy science fiction flick or a film to discount the potential reality of Bigfoot, Monson said. Bigfoot Chronicles is a movie the entire family will watch as they enjoy learning about Bigfoot. I'm sure they're going to learn a lot from this movie. Even though the movie has some fun moments, its main theme is to finish what you start. And for Monson, this was to be his own story of finishing Bigfoot Chronicles.
I'm all about finishing what I start, Steve. Usually on her back.
Yeah, I don't even know where to go from there, Chris. Yeah, so anyway, Monson had cancer, and he was diagnosed with cancer during the filming of this movie. And so I kind of put the project back a tiny bit, but he wanted to go on and on. So I'm kind of ad-libbing now because I don't want to read the whole story, but it's a good story. So anyway, and then his main actors decided that they wanted to renegotiate their contract. Of course, after he was diagnosed with the cancer, he couldn't see. It was in his eyes, I guess. And then he was diagnosed with cancer again. But he got the movie made anyway. He got some help. So it's an actual good story. So go over to Benzinga.
Feel-good story, Steve.
It's a good story. I didn't want to, go through the normal reading of the story where we pick on that part of the story because the dude had cancer, man. There's nothing funny about that, So, but anyway, I suggest watching it. I'd like to steal it tomorrow. I mean, get a copy of that from Walmart.
All right.
Wouldn't you?
No.
No?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay. From the express.co.uk. UK alien sensation. Ooh, sensation. MOD covered up pictures that prove UFOs exist. An investigator employed by the Ministry of Defense to find out if aliens were visiting Earth says officials obtained pictures of a quote-unquote real UFO, which were kept top secret before mysteriously vanishing and being withheld from the public. Claims that photographs of an unidentified diamond-shaped craft were shredded by the ministry has propelled the little-known case of the Calvine sighting into one of the most controversial UFO mysteries in history. Former MOD UFO investigator turned whistleblower Nick Pope claims pictures of the Calvine UFO were not released to the National Archives, with the first set of the ministry's UFOs files released in 2009, as should have happened. In August 1990, two hikers were walking in the Scottish Highlands close to Calvine, north of Pitlet, yeah, whatever, when the incredible aircraft appeared hovering. Pitletry? Our UK fans are going to be so pissed off at me. All 300 of them. And most of our fans are from the UK. You know that, Chris?
We have a lot of fans in the UK. Oh, and yeah, I have another note at the end of the show, by the way.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'll finish reading the story, and then you do your note.
No, you can finish the news completely.
Oh, I'll finish the news completely, and then you'll do your note.
Yeah, I almost forgot.
Check. Anyway, these people were walking north of Pitletry, sure I butchered that, when the incredible aircraft appeared hovering over the remote landscape. For about 10 minutes, they watched and took 6 color photographs, because in 1990, color was a really rare thing, apparently.
It was amazingly rare, Steve. You wouldn't believe it.
Usually would be black and white, apparently, in 1990. I don't know. The pair said during the incident, a number of military jets were seen making a series of low-level passes. At least one of the jets was also caught by them on camera.
That always means
Mr.
UFO.
Pope, always. Mr. Pope and Channel 5 had reconstructed the image for an alleged cover-up, which will be Nick Pope.
Oh, I was going to say, if the Pope was on board, Steve, then...
If the Pope was on board, then we know that it's real, right?
It's got to be real, Steve.
Pope's. Well, here's the kicker, Chris. They're going to do a detailed report of the alleged cover-up, which will be broadcast on Friday.
So we can all catch that.
On Friday.
On Friday. Ah, I see.
Yes. So I'm wondering if this is not another Roswell Slides type fucking
Could
thing.
be. You never know. I guess you have to, I guess, Steve, you have to stay tuned.
Stay tuned. I'm gonna just take a leap of faith here and say it's going to be pretty much bullshit. It's a reconstructed photo. It isn't even the real thing. Fuck. So they got to have this big story on it for a fucking reconstructed photo. I mean, come on.
Tell us how you feel, Steve. Come on, let it out.
I like Nick Pope. I think he's a pretty cool guy. I mean, I've seen him on a lot of the UFO shows. I've never spoken with the guy. I like him. But this fucking publicity about every fucking thing anymore, you know, the Roswell Slides, the Bigfoot shit, all this shit, just fucking gets to you, man.
Steve, is that why we're not publicizing the things that we may or may not have coming up?
That's exactly why we're not publicizing. That's part of the reason.
Okay.
You know, I don't want to be the... You know, I'm going to finish reading the news. The men whose identities are no longer known allegedly took the camera to the Scottish Daily Record newspaper, who in turn allegedly sent the pictures and negatives to the MOD. And then, of course, they got shredded.
And that's the end of that.
Yeah. Also from the, I think the last one was from the Express, express.co.uk. A nightclub CCTV finally proves ghosts are real.
Those ghosts.
The footage was taken at the Dream Water Lounge, who happens to have a YouTube channel. Dreamwater Lounge, all one word. Wine spa in Stockton Heath, Cheshire, and appears to show a figure floating down a hallway. Another spooky clip filmed on the club's surveillance system shows what looks like heavy rainfall indoors. The bar, which opened in April, has a history of strange goings-on. It fucking opened last month, 2 months ago.
Steve, what are you trying to say? Are you trying to say this is set up?
No!
Steve.
I mean, how much history could they have? The fucking bar opened in April.
Steve.
It is fucking July, June, August. What is it?
Maybe the
July?
building has
Yeah.
some history, Steve.
They don't say that. They said the bar, which opened in April, has a history of strange goings-on, with staff and contractors complaining of an eerie, comfortable atmosphere.
Listen,
it doesn't say anything about the history of the bar.
That's history, Steve. It's in the past.
Yeah, recent past. That don't count.
It's in the past, Steve. The place is fucking haunted. I'm gonna get para breakdown on this bitch.
I think we should. I think Bob would do a great job. Breaking down, because that's what he does.
I think we're gonna get para breakdown on this bitch, and we're gonna get to the bottom of this mystery.
Breaker downer.
We're gonna
That's what he does.
Me and Bob are gonna drive the mystery machine up. We're gonna solve this fucking thing.
Speaking of the mystery machine, I bought one at a yard sale this weekend. It's pretty cool. It's sitting on my shelf right next to me.
Oh,
Scooby-Doo and Shaggy are in the front end of it.
I thought you were gonna say you brought home a van.
No, well, I did. It's a toy.
Oh.
Daphne's in there, and then what's the other dude's name? I forget. Chuck or something?
Fred.
He's in there, but somebody...
Wearing his ascot.
No, not Daphne. Velma's in there. Velma's in the van. She's a sticker on the back. And so
they would have gotten away with it, too, if it hadn't have been for two guys with a podcast and a guy who does breakdowns.
Mysteriously, somebody has ripped Daphne out of the van, the sticker. So there is a mystery to solve for the mystery machine. I got it for $25 at a yard sale. I've always wanted a mystery machine.
It's pretty awesome, Steve.
And Simon Ellison, whose father owns the venue, claims to have experienced a number of unexplainable events, including watching one of the bathroom taps, I'm assuming faucet thingies, snap on CCTV. Simon said, I know the building is not...
Oh, look at you making it funny.
I didn't make it funny. The story did. The staff has all complained of strange feelings or noises. I built the bar after my dad took over the property and have heard strange noises and banging. I stayed there on my own once, and within 6 minutes of being alone, I had to call a taxi. A professional has told me it's real. Then this is if it's real, I'm sorry. Then this is the best footage of all time. They want to set up a ghost camera here. I just happen to believe that this is probably a publicity stunt, but that's my guess. I mean,
are you saying we reported on publicities or pub?
I'm saying that the Fortean Slip points out bullshittery where bullshittery exists.
And you think there might be some bullshittery in tonight's stories?
I think almost every one of them, except maybe the Bigfoot story, because it's just a documentary, or not a documentary, one of those pseudo-documentary
But it's being publicized.
Films. Well, yeah, but that's okay, because we know going in that that's not a real movie. I mean, it's not real footage or anything. But when they claim the real footage, I mean, that's what we do, man. We point out the bullshittery where bullshittery exists.
Sure.
Right? That's what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Speaking of bullshit, I think I'm full of it.
Yeah. All right, so I completely spaced this tonight because I'm a fucking moron. But
You moron.
I was sent audio from our good friend Richard Allen.
Richard Allen, one of our UK
super fan of the fucking Fortean Slip. Richard Allen. So anyway, I'm gonna start doing a segment on the show, and I think I'm pretty set on calling it the rantings of a schizophrenic Brit. I think that's where I'm gonna go with it, but I'm not sure.
Before you start, Chris would not allow me to listen to this recording before, so I'll be hearing it for the first.
Right. And I don't want to give anything away because I don't want to ruin any of it for anybody. But so I tend to like it because I have heard it. So I'm going to, I think, probably starting next week, we'll throw that into the show somewhere. I'll pull it up in the soundboard. The only thing is the soundboard, that I have, I can't stop it. So I'm going to have to cut the audio up so that we can make comments as we go.
That'd be good. Yeah.
But so I want to start doing that. That's going to be a part of that is going to be happening. As long as Richard can get me the audio and he can keep the topics fresh and interesting, then I'm going to continue to do it. And that is something that is going to be part of, going into the new year. I know it's a little
we know
before,
that because we know that because you already have the audio.
Well, yeah, for one anyway.
For one.
Whether or not it's going to continue, that's up to Richard. If he wants to do it, then he's more than welcome. But yeah, so I'm hoping to do that. And next week we're going to talk about living off the grid.
Living off the grid.
Living off the fucking grid. Unplugging. And what that fucking means, and the state of mind that it can put the people that are living that lifestyle, what it does to them psychologically. There's some interesting shit there, so that'll be fun.
Fun times.
It's always fun times, Steve. This has been episode 82 of the Fortean Slip. This is the
Chris is a jackass.
Oh yeah, the Chris is a jackass episode. I'm not gonna put that in the when I post it everywhere. Yeah, this is the Chris is a jackass episode. Here, check this out. I don't mind saying
Steve claims that Mike Wolf and Frank, whatever the hell his last name is, stole his TV show idea.
If you like this shit, hit the thumbs up button. If you don't, hit the thumbs down button. Subscribe. Go to dredfunn.com, weslosner.com. Buy some shit, people.